Hey everybody, happy Friday. Thanks as always for tuning in to PDubs Arcade Loft, where we always appreciate it when you hang out upstairs with us. And guess what, guys? iiRcade passed their FCC filing, so we now have some cool photos of the internals of the machine, which we can share with you, as well as some additional commentary and details that I learned while I was in the office, and I got to see this stuff live and in person last week when I visited iiRcade. And we're going to talk about it right after this, coming right back. All right, guys, we are back. Now, let's kind of take a look here. So the external photos of the unit that they sent to the FCC for testing, obviously a lot of this stuff we've already seen before, so there's really no reason to kind of dive into it. A couple key items that we want to point out, though, is a lot of the companies in the 3/4 scale in-home arcade space, are using half-inch MDF boards. When it comes to the iiRcade product, one thing that they are using is actually they are using 3/4 inch MDF boards. So these boards are actually a little bit thicker than what we've seen from other companies in the past. They're also, according to Jong, a bit denser as well. I did, kind of do like knock tests and stuff, and the boards felt pretty solid. But just a heads up there, guys, that these are not half-inch MDF. These are actually 3/4 inch MDF boards that they're using. And not only that, when you take a look at the back, what I love about it is from a modding perspective, or even if you guys wanted to easily hook this up to a TV like we did during the iiRcade office party, that way, because this has HDMI out, or if you're a streamer or things like that, when it comes to running your HDMI cable, guys, they have these awesome holes pre-drilled in the back of the cabinet, which is great from a modding or just a how should I say it, or great from just a flexibility standpoint. You don't have to tear apart the machine or drill holes, things of that nature. Also, everything is assembled with a series of cam bolts, and some pretty good ones at that, as you can kind of see, and there are lots of them holding this product together. When you look at the bottom, which they don't have a picture of, actually, no, it's right here. Here's that rubber feet that I was telling you about right here. These are the rubber feet that sit in the base of the base if you wanted to put this on that riser that they sell separately or as a bundle. The feet go in, it holds it in, and then there's additional holes to put your bolts in case if you wanted to, in case if you did want to bolt this thing in to, keep it from falling over or anything like that. The feet themselves are quite long, maybe about 2 inches. This photo doesn't really show it, so it does sit in there. Of course, I would always recommend, if you're going to stick it on the base for an extended period of time, you're going to want to bolt it in just as a safety precaution. As we kind of take a look at the internal photos, now, what's really cool about these speakers, guys, is when you take a look here, is that these speakers have their own amp. That's right, that is an amp right there. So you do have an amp powering and getting all that sound to these 100-watt speakers. 50 watts on each side. And there's actually something funny about the board that these sit in, the board underneath this amp, which we'll show you. And of course, when you kind of dig in here, plenty of room in here for you to add additional devices if there was a way to mod it. This This particular device does seem to be pretty locked down, though, guys. There's no bonus USB ports or things of that nature, but we know the community always finds a way. However, what I like is, obviously, you have your HDMI port, which you can run your HDMI cable out if you're a streamer, in order to get that to your capture cards or things of that nature, or even just to plug it in to a secondary external display. I've seen a lot of guys in their arcade rooms, they have like a TV in there or a projector, and they like to show off like whatever game they're playing on their machine on that extra screen for their friends and family who are watching. So that's really cool. You just plug it in easily there and run it out that hole in the back, which we showed you before. Now, they are using a Rock chip RK3399. This is the one chip. We're going to give you the specs on this in just a minute. So, but what I really like about the board, and this really impressed me, is when Jong opened up the back of the cabinet for me and we took apart the control deck. This motherboard actually sits under the control deck, guys. It is not mounted on the back of the thing here. This is the board itself. It's mounted under the control deck towards the front of the machine. It's not mounted on the back of the monitor like we've seen from some other companies. They've had this board labeled iiRcade, and they also have some awesome, custom future of arcade gaming is here, immersive arcade gaming reinvented for your home. All that kind of stuff is on here. And when we take a look at this board, guys, this thing is a pretty decent board overall. Definitely as powerful as a Pi 3. Potentially as good as a Pi 4, if not slightly better. We'll have to do some more research and testing on that. But based upon our discussions with the iiRcade team while in office, when it comes to running Sega Dreamcast games and modern games, as you can tell, a lot of modern games that they've already been hyping that are going to be included on their platform require a more powerful board than what we've seen from some other companies. So definitely this board is going to be able to do the job overall. I mean, the Rockchip RK3399 is definitely not as powerful as like an i7 processor, but it's definitely it's going to be good enough to do the job. So when it comes to like potentially down the road, if you wanted to run Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or NFL Blitz or things like that, pretty much any Dreamcast game, this board is going to be able to do the job. If John can get those licenses and get those added. That's just a photo of the bottom of the board. Now, I find this hilarious. Jong did add on here gigawatt sound. Gigawatt sound on the actual this is the board for the sound. And so I think it's hilarious that they actually had that printed on the board itself. But there it is right there for you guys. When it comes to speaker modding, due to the fact that this thing has a 3.5mm jack plus this board, I have a feeling you'll be able to add a subwoofer if you wanted, but also, but then again, 100 watts, man, this cabinet rumbles as it is. You might not even want to by the time you get it. So, I mean, that'll be up to you. The community always finds a way. And then those are just all those pictures. Now, when we look at the actual user manual, I was hoping that it would give us some sneak peeks of the app and stuff, but the app doesn't have to deal with the actual product, which is what the FCC reviews. So no, we still don't have pictures of what their Android app is going to look like for you to purchase and have games downloaded, and they'll be there. What I do like about it is Jong says is you'll be able to purchase the stuff on your phone, and it'll download to your system as long as your system's hooked up, connected to Wi-Fi and all that. And by the time, like, let's say you get home from work, it'll be there, loaded, ready to go, all that kind of stuff. But as we kind of scroll through here, here's that Rockchip here, and it obviously is an Android 9.0. And of course, we still are getting, as promised, the 4 gigabytes memory. And of course, we have that 19-inch TFT LCD display, and it's a beautiful from all angles from what we've seen. It doesn't wash out as you move side to side, staring at the monitor. You do have the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 2.4 if that's all you have. And of course, it has Bluetooth 4.2, which is really cool when it comes to potential for the future. Can we add Bluetooth speakers? Can we add Bluetooth controllers or things of that nature? When it comes to what's possible down the road, having Bluetooth is huge. Obviously, we have that 3.5mm audio out and the HDMI, 250-watt speakers, joysticks, and buttons. And then, of course, this is just all the dimensions and the power, the 24-volt power supply, and all that kind of stuff. But as you kind of look through here, it just kind of gives you a breakdown as to how everything is wired up through the system and all that kind of stuff. Also gives you a good breakdown of the board. Here's your 1.8 gigahertz. Remember, this particular Rockchip could do 2.0 gigahertz, but if you guys remember, they're doing this one at 1.0 gigahertz in order to allow it for the best performance for the games, is what Jong told us. And of course, it gives you a nice breakdown of, hey, here's where your RAM is. Here's the joystick connector. This does have the oh geez, what is it called? The 40-pin connector, if I recall, underneath the control deck. However, when it comes to swapping, if you wanted to swap this easily, take the Sanwa buttons that are already wired to the harness. If you wanted to take those Sanwa buttons and replace them, they're Sanwa clones, but if you wanted to replace them with real Sanwa, it would be plug and play with those right into the harness. So just a heads up there. And of course, here's your speaker connection, left, right, shows you the power. Here's the audio chip, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to this backlight power cable, that's obviously to light the back of the monitor and all that kind of stuff. This is the LCD module cable. That's the audio cable for the sound. But this just powers the monitor, gets the monitor lit up. And of course, gives you a nice breakdown of all the parts. Nothing too crazy here that we haven't seen before. Got some really nice screws and bolts, which this thing is going to be... this thing's not going to fall apart, which is great. And it gives you some teasers as to what the operating system looks like. As I mentioned before, the operating system is fast, it's friendly, it gets you where you want to be. Everything loads and loads really quickly, and then if you wanted to jump from game to game, you can get out of a game, get into a new game within seconds. Everything is very fast, which I found very impressive. You can do what you want as quickly as possible, point, click, and play, which I really, really like. And then, of course, they give you a little breakdown here of your joysticks, which, you know, we've talked about that in detail already. And it gives you instructions on how to turn the system on and off. Because if you just hit the power button, it's going to, I believe, pause it. But if you hold it for 3 seconds, it's actually going to turn it on and off and all that kind of stuff. I'm taking a look here. And actually, you know what? Oh, I missed this the first time I perused this, guys. It looks like we have some photos of the actual application. So as you can see right here, here's your iiRcade app. You log in. And what device? Oh, check this out. There you go, guys. I missed this the first time I scrolled up and down. So this kind of tells you, yep, this is on a mobile phone. This kind of gives you a picture as to what it's going to look like. You see the game, you see the price, and you click on it, and you can download and pay. Now, it says $7.99 for Double Dragon, but guys, we all know that Double Dragon is automatically included. $7.99 for Double Dragon 2. I doubt that that's accurate. That seems way too high for Double Dragon 2. But then again, we'll have to see. I'm pretty sure these might just be renders, perhaps, or test or splash pages that iiRcade probably sent to the FCC. But that gives you an idea. Which device, if you own multiple iiRcades, which device do you want to pay and send it to? All that kind of stuff. Makes me wonder, I thought your login would be universal. Is your login not universal and your games... is it just your games just go to a single device? We'll have to figure that out. That's pretty cool. And then a whole bunch of legal jumbo mumbo jumbo. But this is really cool, guys. We get kind of a view of the app right here. My apologies, I missed it. It's towards the bottom of this PDF. I missed it the first time around. But there you go. That kind of looks like what the app's going to look like. You'll just scroll through the games, click on Get, place your orders, and which system do you want to send it to, do your Google Pay, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool. All right, all right, all right. Not too shabby. So congratulations to Jong and iiRcade for passing your FCC testing. This just means, guys, we are one step closer to these products getting shipped out so we can do all of our formal reviews and opinions and things like that. I mean, obviously, when I was in the office, I really liked what I saw, and so did the other folks who had their hands on these devices, all the just regular fans who came in, which was really cool to see that real-world feedback. But that's what I have for you guys today so far. Don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be. Thanks as always for tuning in to PDubs Arcade Loft. Give us a thumbs up on your way out. Click that subscribe button. Links to all this is in the video description below. And I hope you guys have a great day. We will be talking to you real soon.